What can the body shapes of fish tell us about invasive species? To answer that question, let me first show you just how diverse fish body shapes are. Let's start with cichlids, my favorite group of fish, and a generally good place to start when it comes to understanding the body shape of fish. Cichlids, in general, look like fish, but for every single fish I could show you, I could probably show you another fish that looks absolutely nothing like it. An interesting problem we then run into is how to quantify that diversity, how to capture it and compare it in meaningful statistical ways, right? It may seem like comparing apples to oranges, but I promise you there's a method to the madness. And that method is called geometric morphometry. Let's think of the stars, points in a backdrop of black and blue. You can take a set of these points and form a shape. We call this a constellation, and in this case, it's the Taurus constellation, the shape of a bull. From this vague set of points, we can form the shape of a living animal. Geometric morphometry is a method that follows the same principles but backwards. You start with the shape of an animal, in this case, a fish. Place points, or landmarks, in strategic, consistent locations around the body of this fish to capture the essence of its body shape, like making a constellation from the shape of an animal. This method allows us to systematically compare the body shapes of animals to say officially that one animal is more or less similar to another in body shape, and this method is at the heart of what I do. But where do we go from here? Well, when I fell in love with fish at the ripe old age of 10, I fell in love for life. However, for a lot of people, fish are just a fling, a fleeting affection. And at the end of their entertainment value, many fish end up released into the wild, where they become introduced species. There, they compete with native species for resources like habitat and food, and that's where body shape comes into play. What do I mean? Basically, wings help birds fly, and long legs help cheetahs run really fast. The shape of an animal's body affects what it can and cannot do, and in theory, the more similar two fish are in body shape, the more similar they are in what they do, and the more likely they are to compete with one another. Understanding this competition allows us to better predict which introduced species might have less competition or fewer competitors. These species might have an easier time surviving and multiplying, and therefore may demand extra attention to keep their numbers under control. Now, I have a lot of work left to do to prove that this method truly allows us to predict those two things, but if it does, we'll have a relatively cheap and easy way to better understand and protect our native species, many of whom support important commercial and sport fisheries, as well as the larger ecosystems which bring so many people so much joy and peace. So, in conclusion, I hope you've taken from this film a new appreciation for the diversity of fish body shapes, how we study them as scientists, and what this study can teach us about the natural world. Furthermore, as each of you are potential fish keepers, I hope you put me out of a job by never releasing your fish in the wild, instead appreciating them as I do from an armchair in your living room. Thanks for watching, tank on, and take care, guys.